In Baltimore, abuse of the 911 emergency system is rampant. In 1996 alone, the fire and police departments received more than 1.5 million calls. 1,600 every 24 hours. Of those, a great percentage were for non-emergency assistance, ranging from requests for someone to talk to people using the medic system as a taxi service.
Sick on the street again.
Didn't I tell you it was him? I knew it was him before we left the station.
He said Mercy will take me. Mercy don't want him. Nobody wants him.
I'm not taking him Mercy. This is the second time today. Jerry?
Is he actually really barred from these hospitals?
Yeah, he is. Everybody has thrown you out of the hospital. They're tired of taking you. No.
Jerry's going to jail this time.
Jerry's going to jail this time. We're not taking you anymore. We're tired of it, Jerry. This is ridiculous.
Mercy will take me.
We are not taking you to Mercy. We will take you to the closest hospital, which is Maryland General, and Maryland General will accept you.
When y'all left, I walked. Thought I was close enough to go to Mercy. I called for another ambulance.
And they wouldn't take you either.
You called 4 times today.
I called twice.
This is the 3rd time.
This is the 3rd.
We picked you up once earlier, Jerry.
Would y'all please help me?
Jerry, you do not take your medicine. They take you to the hospiiter and you walk out of the hospital. So what do you guys want to do?
Nothing, we're going to have him locked up.
You get him locked up. Have Baltimore City Police Unit respond also. I can go ahead and take care of him. Oh, it's like this is every day. He calls us every day, 3-4 times a day. A lot of times I've taken him to the hospital. He'll go to the hospital, go to the bathroom, walk right back out of the hospital again.
Okay. I don't do that.
The heck you don't. You were out of the hospital so fast we couldn't. You never even made it to the emergency room. We have taken you so many times to the hospital, Jerry, and they throw you out of the hospital because you get nasty with them, you get abusive with people. So they just throw you out. That's why nobody will take you. I mean, we have no problem taking you to the hospital, but you won't stay.
I just please.
Hi, I checked you, but I'm telling you what, I know what's going on. It's the same thing that's always going on.
Man, I could be laying back watching.
You're moving air, Jerry. You're moving air.
You'll shake my lung.
You don't have to move, you don't have to move. You're moving plenty of air. This don't lie. I can hear with this, hon. You're moving air.
I'm standing still.
That doesn't mean you're still breathing.
You know how long it would take me to get to North Avenue from here?
You catch a cab, Jerry. Get on a bus. Well, how you gonna pay for the ambulance? It's $250 every time you get in the back of that thing.
When we're going to the fire, you know, a lot of these guys who've been in for a while, it's all second nature to them. You know, it's they don't even think about it. They get out and they just do what they got to do. Well, I'm not to that point yet. So I'm still thinking what I got to do. I'm trying to think if I was in the lieutenant's shoes right now, you know, what would I be thinking? What am I going to tell me when I get out of the wagon? You know, where's the hydrant if I'm leading off? So I try to be one step ahead of them, but it never happens. By the time I get out, the lieutenant's right there in my ear telling me to do this and do that and do something else that I didn't even think about. So I got a lot to learn. You know, I'm still just a dumb rookie.
When Engine 13 first arrives at the scene of the fire, they stop by the closest hydrant. The lead-off man jumps off and connects the large diameter hose up to the hydrant. The engine then moves as close as possible to the edge of the building, and the pump operator begins the business of putting the pumps into service. The hose running from the hydrant is plugged in, and the pumps are ready to roll. The worst scenario the firefighters can face is a row of boarded-up vacant houses. This is especially true in Baltimore, where a large number of terrace homes have what's known as a common roof, built with the same roof timbers spanning several different houses. particularly dangerous if fire gets into the roof when it's windy like this, with gusts running up to 50 miles an hour. The blaze started in the end house, and it's now moving rapidly along the roof timbers through the other houses.
I know it's going down 2 buildings already. Pull the ceiling right here. Let me know. It's spread already. Wherever it works, right there. I got a line in the back. I got a line here. It's got fire in that area right there. I gotta bring the line down here and stop it before it spreads down the block. Trying to get the roof open up there too. Further down. Oh my goodness. Need the line down here. He's turning it off. Come on down the ladder and hand me the line.
Here on the west side, real competitive is being first in on the fire, which means that when you get to front of the house, we pull up, we're beating the other company in and getting in front of the house, which means that we're on the pipe, we're going to get the bulk of the fire, which is the big thing. You go, you want to fight the fire. A lot of times if you're second or third in, you don't get any of the fire. By the time you get in there, the fire's out, and basically all you do is just the manual work, which is part of the job, but it's not as fun as when you're in there, it's just you and the fire. So first in's real important, especially when you're on the pipe. You want to get the fire, you want to get in, get the adrenaline rush, and just you and the fire there. So it's real competitive around here, and the companies around here, which I think makes us a better fire department.
Just trying to stop it from getting any further down the block, all right? You want to come in this building here. You know, got the truck there with the horse. This building's got to go.
After half an hour, 44 firefighters and the fire reach a standoff at the last townhouse. Rescue 1's crew vents the buildings from their rooftops.
Working with Lieutenant Novak, it's wild because he's a great firefighter and he's a good lieutenant.
Okay.
He's good to emulate, I think, as far as being a rookie, as far as somebody to kind of look up to. As far as having a lieutenant and listening to him. I think you're great.
But even great firefighters have horrible days. This has got to be one of them. All the houses are destroyed. It's Sunday morning in Baltimore and the sun is scorching. Not a day for rushing around. But before long, Sarah Need, Chris Sorensen, and Tillerman Steve Cobo get a call. This time, the 911 call has reported someone unconscious in an alleyway. They know this could mean anything from a drunk who could just need help back on his feet to a dead body. Today, it's the worst possible outcome, and murder is a definite possibility. For once, the medics beat the truck to the scene.
He's dead. Homicide. We're just trying to find out where the bullets are so we can write it up.
I'm sorry, we didn't know you were on a call.
He's dead. Hey, Bruce. Dead.
I've had my share of deaths and things like that, but it happens, and it's part of the job. It's not to be cold sounding, but you just got to pick up and move on. But it's always going to be out there.
Sarah Need, like all her colleagues, has seen so many tragedies unfold on the streets of Baltimore. But experience has taught her to keep her feelings to herself. Otherwise, she couldn't do her job.
Blew out the back of his head. How long?
How long is it?
Oh, at least since last night.
Oh, he's been there. It's not like it just happened.
No,
Leave everything where it is.
Let me just come back at it.
He's got a lot of cash in his hands in storage.
Okay, I don't see it.
Yeah, it's clenched up.
Is it?
Clenched up on his hand. Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Let's get out of here.
I'm getting out of here.
Then I'm gonna...
That's what the crime scene.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah, we pointed at everything.
Yeah, I had to write this up. That's what we marked there, huh?
Frequently, we don't have anything available in the immediate area for lunch, so if we don't bring a meal in to prepare at the firehouse, which we do occasionally, we go to one of the local markets or one of the local fast food places. Since I have the radio, everybody more or less has to stay in my line of sight or be in a place that if we get a response, I know immediately where to find them so that we can quickly get on the apparatus and leave and take the response.
Leaving the pizzas behind, they respond to a 911 medical emergency. A young girl has been found lying desperately injured in the streets.
Okay, Get her rolled over.
Her mother can't be found, and the police have moved everyone else back while they decide what needs to be done. Within minutes, Lieutenant Paul Novak has established what's happened.
Engine 13, medic 4. I have a female, fell out of a second-story window. She has head injuries, bleeding. We started on some Motil and controlling the bleed.
She fell out of the window. The guy had reaction?
She reacted?
Dilated. Not movement? No movement? How about the other one? No reaction.
Kanisha's condition is extremely critical. Her brain is swelling, and Novak and his team know that within minutes she could die.
Stay still. She fell out of the window? Is this right where she landed when she came down? Did someone move her? Did somebody move her? No. Okay. Yeah,
At 4 years old, she's been coming back and forth, coming around, going back out again. She's got a bad head injury.
Give me a pediatric collar. Pediatric collar.
Kanisha may have damaged her back in the fall. A surgical collar will stabilize the spinal cord until the hospital can x-ray her.
According to witnesses, right after this position, she didn't bang off the steps. She came out here first room. We did roll her onto her back. She laying face down in the gutter.
Got the leg on there?
The kids are bad. You know, you try to be standoffish as far as when you're working with people because it helps you do your job. But when it's a little kid, you always worry more about that. You know, you think about it more when you go home after work. How they're going to do. You know, is she going to make it through the night? It's always tougher with the kids.
With her life in the balance, Kanisha must get to the trauma unit immediately. Lieutenant Novak realizes it will take all hands to keep Kanisha alive. He assigns rookie Steve Lockett to drive the ambulance, enabling both medics to treat the little girl. Firefighter Kenny Lee will also be in the back to support them. Novak will follow alone in engine 13.
Take care of driving.
25, 30.
Maybe 10 feet. She fell out, 4 years old, fell out of a second floor window, fell into the gutter. We didn't move her, or nobody moved her until we got there. So it's about a 10-foot drop is all it is.
Give me shock trauma and John Hopkins pediatric team online. Here, okay, Baltimore City Medic 4 and Mid Channel 3. Shock trauma. This is Baltimore City Medic 4. I'm on the scene of a 4-year-old female who fell out of a 2-story building approximately 12 or 15 feet approximately 20 minutes ago. Fire on the same patient is unconscious, decreased GCS of approximately 9. She does have facial fractures, left orbital fracture and a bilateral orbital ecchymosis. No obvious injuries at the time. Long tails are both clear? No, she's got a lot of...
Bruising around Kenesha's eyes indicates a possible skull fracture. Her heart rate is slowing radically.
Her bagging, 100% ATV above mouth mass. We're going to attempt intubation and IV here approximately a couple of minutes after we intubate the patient. And we're going to we want to know what patient wants the patient. Tom or Johns Hopkins.
Hold still, honey.
At this time, she is resisting according to noxious stimuli, but she is grading down back and forth with application of O2. We are closer to shock trauma. Shock trauma at Hopkins is difficult to understand. Which facility, EMRC, which facility wants to accept the patient? Okay, shock trauma will see you in approximately 5 to 8 minutes. You want to see medical board out. We'll be contacted with any further changes.
I'm probably going to have to trade for
So yeah, you're gonna make it shock trauma?
It's going to be, yeah, shock trauma. We need a driver.
You're gonna take a shot driver.
You know what?
Are you both there? You want us on board?
I just need one bigger man. We need a bigger man. This is too small.
We were looking.
Are they dilated?
No reactions yet.
We got no
They're slightly
reactions.
dilated. But I mean, it's I looked at it.
I got it right here on my hip top. I got it here on the side. She's like,
Still no reaction.
they're not dilated.
That's a good sign.
Dilated eyes indicate possible brain damage.
Yeah, we are.
Oxygen on this?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you're flow.
No, take it off. Take it off, tape it in. We'll get a better,
You still awake then?
you know what? She needs to be suctioned.
Yeah, we got a lot of it out of her already,
Did
Chris.
you?
A lot of clots.
Watch her. She's posturing. We need to get that
Posturing is the term for muscle spasms, a sign of significant brain injury. The medics fear the small and apparently frail child is near death. But ironically, Kenesha's age could be her saving grace. Children are physically more resilient to medical shock, and she's still fighting injuries which could have already killed most adults.
I think it's swelling.
That's her teeth are clamped down. Her brain is swollen. Brain is swollen. We can't get her intubated.
The most important thing now is to keep Kenesha breathing. But her air passages are blocked with coagulated blood. Getting a tube down her throat to respirate her is essential.
She's doing okay. We have her oxygen.
We got it. You know what? We have a
What do you need?
pulse ox. You know what? It's in that bag right there on top. Our drug bag. Right here. Right here. The bag. It's in the middle section. Heart rate's coming up.
You got a finger?
You know what? Pull her shoes off. Pull both her shoes off. Put it on her foot. No, she's posturing. She's posturing. She's doing it with this left side.
The pulse oximeter attached to the toe measures the amount of oxygen in the child's bloodstream.
Yeah, we're only at 79 over here. We're at 80.
Greater than average levels of oxygen are needed by Kenesha's injured tissues as her body fights for survival.
On a stretcher and strap her down, please.
Okay, hang on, let me get the other.
You ready? She's sliding.
Yeah.
Kevin, forward. All right.
Down. You're
Here
99.
on the other side. Are we hooked up?
100%.
Okay, good. Okay, hold it down. Shut that off for a minute so it doesn't back up.
You got it shut down?
Yeah.
Got it? Easy there, Stevie.
You know, really hyperventilating.
Coming out.
Ready?
Let me out.
No.
Less than half an hour has gone by since Paul Novak and his team arrived at the scene. In that time, they have succeeded in doing the very thing that makes their job worthwhile. They have saved a young child's life. Amazing. Despite facial fractures and concussion, Kenesha made a complete recovery and returned home after just 10 days.